What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do a quick video today. I'm not gonna waste any time in this one. For the trans service, this is the fluid we're gonna use. Here's the part number for that one. It's the ultra low viscosity. Here's the filter we're gonna be running in this from AC Delco. Need part numbers, whatever. And then here's one right here for the gasket, the pan gasket as well. 24, 29, 79, 22. This is the AC Delco number, same thing on this side. All right, let's get into it. All right, these are the only tools you're gonna need for this. Ratchet, an H8 Allen wrench. This would be for the fill plug slash check plug. 8mm, this would be the 2 bolts that are gonna hold the filter on, and a 10mm as well. This is for all the pan bolts. There's 16 pan bolts. They're all 10mm, and then one, I guess, drain plug, but not a whole lot of fluid is gonna come out of there. All right, let's get into it. All right, quick overview of what we're doing here. Underneath the vehicle, this is on the driver's side. These are the pan bolts. They're all 10mm. There are 16 of them that go around the pan. There's nothing obstructing this. This should be a really easy repair. I mean, a really easy service we're doing. There's a little drain plug right here. At least I think that's what it is. We're gonna pull it, drain it. Not a whole lot of fluid is gonna come out. Obviously, when you go to pull this, it's only gonna drain what's here, and the whole bottom of the pan is gonna be full and make a huge mess when I go to pull it out and drop it all over the garage floor. I might stick something underneath this little jack or something to help lower it down to do it evenly, but I don't know, I got a piece of cardboard. We'll see what it does. All right, squad, step 1, remove the fill plug. On the passenger side of the vehicle, this is the fill slash check plug. Put your 8mm inside of here. You definitely don't want to start draining fluid before you can ensure that you can put fluid in. Break that free. That was actually really tight. I'll pull this guy out real quick. All right, good to go. There's our little fill plug. All right, I put a little flashlight down here so you guys can see better. Let's get to it. I'm gonna start by pulling this little plug that's on here. Again, I don't suspect a lot of fluid to come out of this, so let's see how much comes out of here. All right, hardly any fluid came out of there. This is like a tiny amount, but this fluid is, if I'm being honest, I think it's past due. So this doesn't look like it's bright cherry red. This looks pretty nasty. So I have 47,000, about to hit 47,000 miles on this. This is the first trans service, so we'll see what that does. I'm gonna go out real quick and pull the other 16 10mm bolts out, slap this little drain one back in. I'm gonna put something underneath here to lower this pan down, and we're gonna keep it moving. All right, we're gonna torque this to spec. Feels good to me. Let's pop the rest of these out. All right, for the 16 bolts that surround the pan, I put my digital torque wrench on here and attempted to tighten these. And I went to kind of tighten a few of them, and they all started tightening right at about 65 inch-pounds. That's what we're gonna tighten these back up to when we're done. So let's get these popped out real quick. All right, I went ahead and left 2 bolts inside of this thing. I just did one on the passenger side in the middle somewhere, over here, and then one over here in the corner in the front. That's fine, just there's something holding this thing up. These are all very easy to get to. This is all pretty simple so far. Okay, for those that are gonna wonder what this tool is, this is the Harbor Freight 2,000-pound low profile transmission jack. I'm just gonna shove this underneath there, put the pan on this plate, that way I can lower it down slowly. That pan is obviously completely full of trans fluid and is going to like make a disgusting mess over my garage floor, which is cool. I'm gonna try and keep the mess to a minimum, so we're gonna shove this under there real quick and see if we can lower it down slow. I'm just barely gonna touch the plate to the bottom of it. Under the plate a little bit, make sure it's somewhat square. Can you see? I'll take your silence as a yes. looks like that filter is draining a little bit, and obviously the pan is completely full of fluid. We're gonna give that another second to drip, then I'll pull the pan out and show you what's in it. All right, here's the pan, it's out. I don't know how many quarts this pan holds, probably, I don't know, 8 maybe, 6 or 8. We're gonna put in whatever falls out, and that's it. It's my understanding this transmission holds like probably freaking 16 quarts or something. We're just doing a quick fluid exchange of whatever falls out in a filter. So let's get to it, let's get this drained and we'll keep it moving. All right, we're gonna drain this thing the safest way I know how. Got some cardboard down, funnel, whatever. Pick the pan up. Drain it into here the best I can, trying to make the smallest mess possible. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty well. Whoops. Okay, we got the pan empty. Most of the fluid went inside of the container. Cardboard caught a good amount, whatever. This is a 2.5 gallon diesel exhaust fluid container that's, I don't know, 2/3 full. So we pulled out what, 1 3/4 of a gallon or something. I don't know, we'll wing it. As you can see, the fluid condition of this is not excellent. I don't know, it probably looks better on video than it does in person. There's some magnets in the bottom of the pan. I'm gonna get these wiped off real quick, lint-free rag or whatever. A little bit of crap on here. But we'll get these cleaned off real quick, get the pan wiped out, and then we'll get it back together. As far as debris goes, it's kind of a little bit. Obviously all the braking is still in this as well. I probably should be playing in this. All right, let me clean it out, I'll get back to you. All right, here's a new filter. The filter does have this little rubber collar on it, so we'll make sure we shove that on there, make sure the old one comes out as well. Let's do the filter real quick, shall we? All right, I'm under the truck on the passenger side. There's 2 bolts that hold this filter on. There's one right here, right on the passenger side. And there's one more in the back, which also holds this harness on. Let's pop those 2 out and let's get this filter off, slap the new one in it. All right, with the new filter, I'm gonna take this little collar off I showed you earlier. We're gonna shove this into the hole. Then we're gonna shove the filter onto the collar. Or into the collar, I guess. That'll do. Both the fasteners that hold this in are the same size. They're both 8mm fasteners. Here's what's left of the fluid. We'll dump the rest of that inside of here. All right, that's how much fluid came out of this. Again, this is a 2.5 gallon exhaust fluid container, and there's, I don't know, obviously over 2 gallons. All right, this is all pretty much trash. I'm gonna take the pan. I just blew this out with compressed air and got them all cleaned up. That's good now. Nice and clean, there's no lint or any crap inside of here. We're gonna put the gasket on top of him, shove him underneath, and get him up in the spot where he belongs. Looks pretty obvious how this goes on. This does have pins on it, little dowel pins on here, so you can line it up. One in the front, should be one in the back. There he is, line that up. Okay, it's pretty good. Well, my holes look like they line up pretty well. I'm not gonna use the jack to install this, or to reinstall this rather. I'm just gonna lay underneath here, hold it with my hand and shove it on. Let's do it. All right, I'm just gonna look through some of the holes and make sure this thing's somewhat lined up here. Throw a couple fasteners in this to hold it in place. And we'll tighten everybody up. All right, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm gonna do is go around this thing, use my digital torque wrench here, set it to, I don't know, 60 inch-pounds or so, 60, 65. Little drain plug deals back in, or whatever you want to call that. All the bolts are on the outside, all 6 of them have been torqued. These are all at 65 inch-pounds. Let's throw some fluid in this thing and we'll get her done. All right, here's the plan. I have this cheap $15 Harbor Freight multi-use transfer pump, whatever. A bunch of fluid. I'm gonna throw a bunch of fluid in here until it starts leaking out of this hole, and then we'll start it up, get it warm, let it get with the operating temp, with the fluid, do its thing, and then we'll go until it starts leaking out of the hole and we'll call it a day. So let's get this party started. Oh. All right, so far I've done 8 of these. This is quart number 9. I'll put a little in here real quick, just till it starts coming out of that plug. We'll see what happens with it. Number 11. And after 11, it's starting to drip out of the hole. It should be just about full. Let's get my tube out of the way. Cool. So I'm gonna take the tube out, start the truck up, let it start idling, see how much fluid pours out of this thing, we'll see what it does. All right, I got the hose out of the way. I got the key on me. I'm gonna go ahead and remote start this thing from down here so I can see what happens with this fill plug and see what it does. Alright, right now the transmission's at 100 degrees or so. We're going to run this thing until she gets around, I don't know, probably 160 or so if we're lucky. I doubt it'll get that high, just idling like this, but we're going to try and get her up to, hopefully at least 130 or so if we're lucky. But just idle this for a little while I clean up, and then whatever the fluid level is, once it's at some type of operating temperature that seems to be, it's not continuously increasing, I'll put that last quart in there. I mean, I bought 12 quarts, so we'll throw one more of these in there. And that's it. We'll see if we can get it to dribble out of that hole and we'll call it a day. Okay, I just turned the truck off, got up to about 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously this thing with no load on it, just sitting here idling, is not gonna get very warm. When I went to put the tube in there and pull it out, like without adding any fluid, just fluid coming out, so I know it's right at the top of that fill hole. That's good to me. I ran through all the gears real quick, slowly, 10-15 seconds in each one, all the way down the Prindle and all the way back up. Seems to shift really smooth, really nicely. So I'll go out and do a little test drive on this thing, but we're gonna do the transfer case flush right now. By we, I mean me, of course. Do the transfer case flush right now. I'll post a link to that video in the up here, so you guys can click on that if that's something you'd like to watch as well. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Feel free to subscribe, it's free. Give the video a like if you liked it. If you got some comments or something you'd like to add or something I missed, feel free to go ahead and add that as well. Other than that, I appreciate it. Have a good day. We'll see y'all next time.